Hey, this is Zulem Urbina, and tune into the relay for the latest news in boxing all around the world. Thank you for supporting myself and other female boxers. We truly appreciate it.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news. Ow!
Okay, we'll start with this. Dazon's new tier to cut $1,125 boxing pay-per-view and subscription costs.
Basically, if you were paying for every single box office fight happening on the platform at the end of the year, it will have costed you $1,125. They're essentially offering up a solution, but it's a solution to a problem that they are creating.
Dazn is about to shake up boxing subscriptions, and fans should be looking at over $1,000 a year to watch every major fight unless they jump on the new premium tier. The streaming platform is set to unveil full details of this new subscription this month, which will encompass all pay-per-view boxing events in a single tier. The UK-based streaming platform believes the move will offer value for fans who watch multiple pay-per-view bouts while boosting viewership for the roughly 15 top-tier events planned each year. WBN understands that the new pay-per-view tier is expected to go live before the Chris Eubank Jr. vs. Conor Benn 2 clash, giving fans access to every major fight under DAZN's banner. The service is designed to offer a single subscription option for premium fights, rather than requiring individual payments for each premium live event.
Except that I don't think anybody out there is buying every single pay-per-view that DAZN puts out.
No, not all of them.
So this idea that you're saving anyone money who might be purchasing all of these pay-per-views relies on the predication that somebody's actually doing that, except most people aren't. The cost of boxing at full price if current trends continue, despite Turkey LL Sheik's promise to eliminate pay-per-view charges on Riyadh season shows, hardcore boxing fans could end up paying $899 per year to watch every planned pay-per-view based on the 15-show estimate. Add that to the lower 12-month subscription upfront cost of $224.99, and the total for every fight at the platform's bottom price would reach $1,124.
Too fucking much.
Even with the addition of the new premium tier, WBN believes DAZN will offer a more affordable alternative to paying over $1,000. This model is reminiscent of the NFL Game Pass in the UK, which charges around £124. Under this new setup, the total annual cost for the average subscriber, including the base subscription and the new pay-per-view tier, could fall in between $399 to $449. This figure also represents under half the original full price.
As a content creator, I understand that I don't necessarily represent the average customer because I actually buy a lot of, if not all of, these pay-per-views. So for somebody like me that actually spends that amount of money on boxing, it might actually be value for money. But to the average customer,
nope. It just looks like you found a way to charge them more, to go into their wallet through some other kind of means. Even at half the price, fans are still shelling out almost $40 a month for what amounts to a double subscription. Hardly cheap for those chasing every fight. This remains a substantial outlay for fans, especially considering that most viewers still require additional subscriptions, such as Paramount Plus, Amazon Prime, or Netflix to catch every fight. What about when they do pay-per-views of their own? Amazon Prime is about to with the upcoming Isaac Cruz versus Lamont Roach fight.
between what they have to pay to see those fights and what they would have to pay to see yours, it all amounts to too much fucking money. With the new pay-per-view premium subscription, DAZN appears to be moving closer to a mega pass model, combining all content including American sports under one platform. WBN understands that discussions are ongoing with rights holders to ensure fair revenue sharing, and the company aims for flexibility to suit fans across multiple regions. And yet, if you're an American boxing fan, it just feels like they're taking you for a ride, taking you for a patsy. They don't charge the Brits for boxing what they charge us. We pay more than anybody, and now you're asking for even more.
What the fuck?
The bottom line for fans, For boxing fans, the new subscription model offers both promise and complexity. The ability to access every major fight in one package is a step forward. But even with the discounts, the cost remains significant. WBN believes the pay-per-view tier, paired with the base subscription, will offer a more affordable option while still keeping premium boxing within reach, but it will still demand a serious commitment from those who want every fight live. Subscribers looking to catch Eubank versus Ben will likely be the first to test the new tier, but if you're an NFL and boxing fan into the bargain, well, good luck to you.
You have to imagine this happening in real time to gauge whether or not it's viable. At what point in the calendar year does the average boxing fan, not the content creator,
The average boxing fan.
at what point in the calendar year do they have close to $500 to dedicate to boxing? Just boxing, what would be tantamount to their entertainment budget. We're talking about the common man here. Boxing is the common man's sport, the poor man's sport. So at what point in the calendar year does the common man have close to $400, $500 to dedicate to a boxing budget?
How does that sound to all of you? How it sounds to me is that the higher-ups in the suits at Dazn got together, crunched the numbers, and in their purview, this is value for money. But to the customer,
Just sounds like you're charging me more.
it sounds like you're creating a problem and then charging me extra for the solution. That's what it sounds like, because you might say that paying for all these pay-per-views will cost you X, but you're the one billing them as pay-per-views. So why should I pay Y?
Piracy is at an all-time high. Illegal streaming is an alternative.
That's the reality of the situation. It should be for the higher-ups at Dazn, to where you have to factor that into the equation. What about all those people who don't want to pay extra, they simply don't have it, but they do want to watch boxing? They will resort to illegal streams.
There is a chance that I myself will subscribe to this premium package. For me, it's value for money, but I'm not everybody.
I can say that I purchase enough pay-per-views on Dazn alone, that for me, it would represent value for money. But there are a lot of people.
They don't buy all those pay-per-views. They're not content creators. They don't have the luxury of doing a live stream for a pay-per-view they bought, then flipping it to get their money back.
Doing a watch-along.
There are a lot of people, they don't have that option. They don't have the disposable income, where inundating the market with more box office fights has been the nature of the problem. And now you wish to continue that practice? Offering a premium package as a fight pass to the customer, it just sounds like you want more money.
They simply don't have it.
Don't let that be lost on you in the logistics and crunching the numbers. There are a lot of people out there who simply don't have the disposable income to fritter away on boxing. Boxing is just entertainment after all. It's not essential to their survival.
Bottom line, I don't think this is going to go over well with anybody. Men's lightweight news. No more than 5 years. Floyd Schofield Sr. says, the days are numbered for Shakur S. Stevenson Rodriguezson, as Floyd Schofield has big career goals. He looks to make a run for undisputed in 2 divisions. Floyd Schofield Jr. recently spent some time talking with Fight Hub TV about a number of topics, and during this particular segment, his father and trainer made some bold proclamations about their intentions to be undisputed in 2 weight classes, simultaneously while also saying he expects Shakur Stevenson's career to end sooner than you might expect. To be fair, most of the talking came from Schofield Sr. rather than directly from his son.
Well, isn't that how it always goes with these boxing dads?
But here's some of what was said below. Floyd Schofield Sr. on saying Shakur Stevenson doesn't have much time left in the sport. We make our money with our hands. Now I understand fracturing and all of this, but multiple breaks? Your time is ticking. How many fights, how many sparring sessions you can do to stay at A level if your hands are this brittle? Wilder broke his hands, and then after a while, he couldn't throw with that power like he needed to. What happened to his ass? He started getting slid all over the ring.
As much as I don't like Floyd Schofield Sr.'s antics, he is raising a valid concern. Shakur Stevenson has had persistent hand issues for what feels like the last 2 years. In many instances, fights that he wins in dominant fashion. If this is what's going on when you're winning, how long will it be before you're losing? I think that's a big part of the reason We didn't see him after the Williams-Zepeda fight. Were there not reports of a hand injury? Correct me if I'm mistaken.
Senior continued, so you don't want that to happen to you, so as a smart man, you need to have big fights and cash out. Make his money, recoup everybody that had to make money off of him, and sail off into the sunset. On how much time he thinks Shakur Stevenson has left? No more than 5. No more than 5 years, and that's being honest. It depends on the fights he can get. If he can get a Teofimo, if he can lock down a Ryan, if he can lock down a Haney, if he can lock down 3 fights that can make him a good 20 to 30 million, he can sail off good. It's about money, and people got to understand that it's about money. So I give him 1 fight a year, 3 to 5 years. On the importance of understanding the business of boxing, it ain't that hard. If you can sell drugs, you can sell a boxer. I swear to God. Supply and demand. That's all it is. Fans are fiends, and it really works the same method. The promoter is just, he's the lookout, because he's the one on the block. You get spotted a brick, you come back with money to him. The promoter just gets you the fight. Like, I got a date, and I got this from these people, I need you to help me push it.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
You're the main event, he's spotting you, and now you come back, you promote it, you train, you do this, you win, you've got him his money back. It's the same fucking hustle.
Floyd Schofield's parallel isn't exactly off base, but what he's doing, where he's wrong, is he's overemphasizing the role of the fighter. The role of the fighter in this parallel is tantamount to the nickel and dimer. You can find any snot-nosed punk to move a couple of nicks and dimes for you.
The promoter is not the lookout, and the fighter is not the kingpin. The promoter is, in fact, at the center of it all, because without the promoter's money, without their investment, nothing moves. Nothing happens.
Fight is just the worker. Entry-level employee. Expendable, easily replaced. They all come and go.
The promoters are what remains, and there's really only a few that actually are well-to-do. We fight for the WBA next, and then fight for the IBF, and then we're going to see if Shakur is ready. We'll go up there. If he's not ready, we'll go fight whoever holds a 140-pound IBF title, because we're going to hold the 140-pound belt and the 135-pound belt simultaneously. They're changing the rules anyway. If we can be undisputed in 2 weight classes at the same time, shit. Why not? That's a hell of an accomplishment. Nobody did that.
An interesting conversation with interesting talking points. As stated, while I'm not a fan of Floyd Schofield Sr.'s shenanigans, he did touch on something very real when it comes to Shakur Stevenson's hand issues in reference to his longevity. You can only fight for so long when your hands are constantly getting hurt.
Parallel about how boxing is like selling drugs? Not exactly off base.
And what their future plans are. I mean, that's what I figured, that they're targeting the WBA title and that they might fight Andy Cruz for the IBF after that, provided that Andy beats Raymond Muratalla, and I think that he's going to. All well and good.
Circling back a bit, though, anytime the Schofields make any mention of Shakur Stevenson, address him in conversation, it just reminds people that the Schofields ducked him with some cockamamie excuse about how Floyd was ill, Floyd was sick.
They pulled out. And when that crosses the boxing fan's mind, what else does is how many times Floyd has pulled out of a fight. He pulled out of the Ashton Silva fight, pulled out of the Stevenson fight.
They literally just pulled out of the Jojo Diaz fight. Before you go accusing Shakur Stevenson of being an injury-prone fighter, you're pretty prone to injury yourself, aren't you? Careful that you're not projecting your son's inadequacies onto Shakur Stevenson, because your son has a penchant for incurring injuries
and avoiding fights. It was Floyd Schofield Sr. himself who admitted they rejected a $2 million offer to box Abdullah Mason. All these things in mind, whenever Floyd Schofield Sr. addresses Shakur Stevenson in any way as a subject, the floodgates open and all this stuff just comes rushing back. They're in no position to criticize anybody, Shakur least of all.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, Terrence Crawford is not in the mix to face Jake Paul, sources say. Crawford is targeting his own event in March. Manny Pacquiao, I'm told, who recently returned to the Philippines, is focused on closing a 147-pound showdown with Rolly Romero. Rolly, who's currently under orders to satisfy his mandatory Shakram Gayasov, a potential stumbling block for Manny's second crack at the apple.
Addressing that, I ain't got no interest in seeing a guy Manny's age still hanging around, being honest. They say that boxing is a young man's sport, not just for the people in it, but the people watching it. I don't want to see this old guy no more. I'm sorry, he's got a legacy, and he was great.
But don't fucking kid yourself. Every time Manny fights now, they're gonna charge you and me $80 to see it. Should we pay $80 to see him fight a hapless fighter? Like Rolly Romero?
Get the fuck out of here.
Over to Crawford, who's taken himself out of the running for a Jake Paul exhibition, circus, whatever you want to call it.
I'm not surprised to hear that. The real nugget, the real jewel in that story is it's giving it away when we can expect Terence Crawford to return. They're saying he's planning on returning in March. Who against?
He did just call out Janibek Alimkhanalai.
That conversation has been gaining traction steadily in the days and weeks that have followed his big win over Canelo Alvarez. He did say he might move down the middle, and Janibek Alimkhanalai was almost immediately volunteered as his potential adversary. Most are expecting Janibek Alimkhanalai to beat Erislandy Lara on the undercard of the upcoming Cruz versus Roach fight due to Lara's age.
Inactivity.
Most are expecting Janibek Alimkhanalai to win and collect 3 of the 4 major titles at the weight. Not quite undisputed, though terribly close. The only other champion at the weight, Carlos Adames, in possession of the green and gold title, has fast become irrelevant following the weeks and months after the draw with Hamza Shiraz.
Fighting Crawford for Janibek Alimkhanalai would afford him a more high-profile fight than a Carlos Adames fight, and certainly more money, since it would likely be Turkey El Al Sheikh paying for it in March.
The time frame.
Janibek is fighting Lara at the beginning of December. That would leave him the rest of the month to recuperate, all of January, and some part of February, and perhaps in the middle, he starts training.
Mid-February into perhaps late March, something along those lines. The bottom line is, on that kind of schedule, it is doable. Crawford versus Janibek, though is Crawford biting off more than he can chew? Is he making the same mistake that so many other boxers have made over the years, overstaying their welcome in the sport, not knowing when to leave the party? It's hard to doubt him after beating someone like a Canelo Alvarez, who is clearly a better fighter and more accomplished than a Janibek Alimkhanalai.
The odds makers will likely favor him. A sizable portion of the boxing community at large will too. But you know, if everybody knew when an upset was about to happen, there'd never be any upsets, and upsets do happen. I'm a huge fan of Terence Crawford. I have been for years. Though at his age, it's only a matter of time before Father Time catches up.
On a long enough timeline, everybody loses if they stick around. On a long enough timeline.
The ones who didn't, those fighters knew when to leave the party. So you have to wonder if Crawford has to know when to bow out gracefully and leave the show, leave the party. Bittersweet for him because he's peaked in popularity.
But he's not at his peak physically. Not at 38 years old. That's not the way this works. You might want him to stay, and you might look at how he just performed and say he still got it.
Though for how much longer, there is a part of me that is torn. Would like to see him continue, would like to see him reap the fruits of his labor, but another part of me wants him to retire. Bow out now.
I don't want to see him lose to some guy that he could have beat if he were in his prime.
Ultimately, it's not my decision to make, it's his, and we'll see what decision he makes when the time comes.